All right. So yesterday, after the big Biden-Putin summit, former President Donald Trump appeared on Sean Hannity's Fox News program to deliver, I guess, what was billed as analysis of Joe Biden's meeting with the Russian President Vladimir Putin that we talked about earlier. It took place in Geneva, Switzerland, and it was really pathetic. And in some sense, it was almost kind of sad. A Trump desperate for relevance, relegated to opining about how the guy who defeated him easily did during a summit with a guy, Vladimir Putin, who walked all over Donald Trump during Trump's presidency. Now, whoa, hold on a second. Everybody take it easy. I'm not saying Trump and Putin ever got together to plan anything. I'm not saying I want a war with Russia. I don't. I've got to be clear, because otherwise that sort of Putin-loving segment of the audience will come after me. But let's check out some of these clips. And Trump is just so jealous of Joe Biden and the fact that Biden just kind of behaved normally during the summit. Like, the summit was no big success other than it was a normal summit and it was a return to kind of standard diplomacy. And the interview with Hannity very quickly went completely off the rails. Trump now this isn't even related to Putin. Trump just doing openly anti-vaxx talking points now. Listen to this.
And now we have to get back and the schools have to get open. And frankly, we're lucky we have the vaccine, but the vaccine on very young people is something that you got to really stop. You have to get back to running your country. I mean,
What is he talking about? Schools basically are open, and it's also summer for some school districts already. And everybody's going to be back in the fall. Most schools already opened. And vaccines on young people, we have to stop vaccines on young people. We haven't even started vaccines on young people. Pfizer is approved for 12 plus. Otherwise, there's nothing else. We're starting to test the vaccine now. We're testing it safely. It appears to be very safe. These are just straight up anti-vax talking points now from Trump, who, by the way, wants credit for the vaccine, which is really dangerous for children, even though there's not actually evidence of that.
See reasons. And I am a big believer in what we did with the vaccine. It's incredible what we did.
Trump is the winner for doing the vaccine, but it's a very dangerous one for children. And we've got to stop giving it to them, which we're not yet, until it's tested and appears safe.
You see the results. But to have every school child where it's 99.99%, they just don't, they're just not affected or affected badly, having to receive a vaccine, I think is something that you should.
And of course, nobody has to receive it unless you eventually, if it becomes a requirement to go to school, as has been the case for other vaccines, the parents would get to choose. I want my kid in this school, and so I will do the required vaccinations to attend, of which, if COVID-19 is added, would not be the only vaccine. Or you can opt not to go there, but nobody is being forced to vaccinate. We don't have to stop vaccines on kids because we haven't even started them yet. It's all wild. In this next clip, Hannity cuts Trump off when he starts a completely unhinged rant about wind turbines again.
They're making windmills all over the place to ruin our land and kill our birds, to kill everything.
Windmills are killing everything, guys. The windmills, they're killing everything.
Not going to be, and they're very intermittent, as you learned from watching over the last 4 months. It's intermittent energy.
Yep.
It's not good. It's not going to power our great factories. And
what
it's a real problem.
Yeah. There was a question There was a question of whether Ukraine would join NATO, and Biden's answer.
Oh, man, that is just great. Hannity's like, this is not the windmills killing everybody is not a great direction to go in for Hannity's program. So Hannity tries to derail that. Then Trump is still calling the 1918 flu the 1917 flu.
And if we weren't successful, Sean, I'll tell you this, you would have another 1917 tragedy where almost 100 million people died.
Yep. Still calling it that. Still calling it the 1917 flu. Trump then, in the midst of this, wanting to go back to talk about Hillary. And Hannity is actually helping him do it. Take a look at this.
We know that Hillary Clinton paid for the dirty Russian misinformation dossier that even Christopher Steele doesn't stand by. And the subsource doesn't stand by.
Right. And then it wasn't just Hannity doing it. Trump also insisting on going back and talking about Comey and McCabe, and they just will not stop.
To be gone. And I'm talking about very, very serious things. If you look at Comey and McCabe and the two lovers and all of the things that went on, and they weren't prosecuted. If you read the Horowitz report, and of course, everyone's still waiting for Durham. What happened to Durham? How is that allowed to go into another administration?
By the way, is he in the witness protection program? I'd like to know where he is, too. Is he in the witness protection program?
So really touching on the issues of the day. Remember, Trump invited on to analyze, as if Trump could analyze anything. Trump invited on to analyze the Putin-Biden summit and doing anti-vaxx, doing the 1917 flu, doing what about Peter Strzok and his lover, Paige, or whatever her name was. Trump then, again, completely delusional, claiming that an endorsement from him is stronger than anything else anybody could ever even imagine. So
I'm very honored to say that my endorsement means more than any endorsement that has ever been given by anybody. I mean,
yeah.
So I'm very...
I don't know exactly what he's talking about. Trump became president. Republicans then lost the House in 2018, lost the Senate in 2020, and lost the White House in 2020. And Trump wants us to believe his endorsements are really, really strong. Of course, no Trump interview is complete until he again sort of references, I didn't really lose and I may be back soon. Here he is doing that.
You ever considered it, and are you considering it?
Well, I am. And frankly, if you think of it, that's what I've been doing and talking about for a long time. And I guess that's why we got him by surprise in 16. And in 20, we did much better than we did in 16. And shockingly, we were supposed to win easily at 64 million votes, and we got 75 million votes. And we didn't win. But let's see what happens on that. The whole thing is...
Let's see, because Trump could be back absolutely any day and still sort of floating that and signaling his followers. And then lastly here, Hannity throws a complete softball to Trump about, if you run in 2024, what will you do differently? And Trump he can't keep it together. He talks about the Clintons and fake investigations and all sorts of wacky stuff.
Is there anything, and we have a minute left, if you do run in 2024,
right,
what might you do differently? What do you know now that you didn't know in 2016?
Well, we ran a very successful administration. We had the greatest economy in history. We had 160 million jobs. We were never even close to that. Nobody was ever even close to that. And we did it twice, because then we did it after the pandemic. We came with a vaccine. We did a lot of great things, and we did it after. But I was under siege with fake investigations and everything. And I was doing this while I was under siege from phony people with phony Russia that was caused by...
The people were fake. That's interesting. We've known he thinks the investigations were fake, but the people doing them were fake too.
Clinton and the DNC Democrats and all of that. And we did it. We built Space Force. We rebuilt the military. We got the largest tax cut in history, the largest regulation cuts in history.
I'm pretty sure everything he's saying is a lie. They weren't the biggest tax cuts in history. He did cut some regulations, but unfortunately he didn't cut that many, but they were damaging the cuts. But I don't think anything he's saying here is true. Nothing. None of it.
Close. We did Anwar, which they've already excluded, thanks to Murkowski in Alaska. And,
Hannity rapping. Yeah. So, I mean, just an incredible, bizarre interview. And my question continues to be, can anybody tell me specifically what was the massive failure of the Biden Europe trip that every right winger is ranting about? They say it was a failure, but they don't mention what the failure was. They don't have anything specific to mention. They just want to create this atmosphere that it was terrible. And then the Fox viewers just repeat it, but they never can explain what was the failure. And also, don't forget what happened in the Putin-Trump summit in Helsinki in July of 2018, where the whole question was, is Trump going to confront Putin about Russia's meddling in the 2016 election? And Trump came out, and when he was asked about it, said, I hold both countries responsible, partially blaming the U.S. If there was Russian meddling, which he won't say there was, it's partially the U.S.'s fault. And then he also said, listen, Putin denied it. Putin denied it, and he seemed sincere in his denial. So everybody just runs around Trump. Trump met with Kim Jong-un and he thought he got incredible concessions from Kim Jong-un. Didn't realize these are the concessions that they always make and never stick to. Trump thought it was a big victory. Trump meets with Putin and he says, I don't know, Putin, he was pretty convincing. And it's like, this is what Putin does. Putin is the slick guy Trump wishes he could be. And Trump fell for that. And it's just all humiliating and embarrassing. And Joe Biden's not perfect or anything close to it, but it is good to be beyond the insanity of foreign policy under Trump. If you've been watching the show, you've probably heard me talk about how much I love my Helix mattress. Well, I was really excited to hear that Helix has launched a new company called Allform, which makes premium, customizable sofas and chairs with the same level of quality and comfort that I expect from these guys. And Allform is one of our sponsors today. They're giving you 20% off at allform.com/Pakman. They actually sent me a couch which I put in my living room at home. It's now my favorite piece of furniture in the house. It took me just minutes to set it up. It's solidly built. It's huge. It's roomy. It has a modern minimalist design, which I love, but it's also very comfortable. Fabric is soft, clearly very high quality. It has become the focal point of my living room. Their prices are very reasonable. And when you get a new sofa or chair, you get 100 days to decide if you want to keep it. And the best part is everything comes with a lifetime warranty. Stop buying poorly made furniture. Go to customize your own Allform sofa or chair right now and get 20% off your entire order when you get there by going to allform.com/Pakman. I've also put the link right underneath this video.